Hey guys, Dennis here with Revog Games. I'm joined by.
Joshua Weyers, all the way in South Africa.
Yes, and we're back for another edition of the Revog Games podcast. Got a lot of news to cover, a lot of
Yeah.
things about E3, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. We got, what else we got in there? Resident Evil 4 Remake came out. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Ooh, PlayStation VR. This is one I forgot to put on the outline for you is PSVR 2 sales are not doing so
Yeah.
well. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff to cover. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Besides the constant power outages and not like the schedule keeps changing, so it's difficult to make plans, and I'm just kind of working whenever I can because of electricity.
Yeah, that
And like,
sucks.
yeah, so it's been one of those things where I got to kind of choose between work or gaming, you know what I mean? And it's a difficult decision until you start getting hungry. Then it's an easy decision, you know?
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but I have been doing a bit of gaming as well. Because I realized that like with emulators, and I never really considered this before, but you can upscale most older games to like 4K quality.
Hmm.
So I've been playing a lot of like PlayStation 2 games, but in 4K, which is a very weird experience, but also the nostalgia is great. Yeah, I've been doing good. Yeah, I was about to blast into like I was about to go into a whole dilemma there about how games have changed over the years because playing PlayStation 2 games, it's interesting how much games has changed and how used to certain schematics, like the back button used to be triangle for like a good 10 years of gaming. Like I just remembered now, like the back button used to be triangle. Now you
Because
can't even
because they didn't have
fathom.
enough stuff for you to do, right? So they're just like, all right,
Exactly. Did it,
we'll just
yeah.
use this.
The triangle button didn't have a usage half the time. So yeah, it was like that's the back button. It's wild how like things have changed. Like some games, the shooting button used to be R1 instead of the trigger.
Yeah,
Like
that
it's
makes no
man.
sense.
So yeah, so much has changed. It was cool to see that. But yeah, other than that, I've been doing pretty good. Replaying Cyberpunk, replaying
Oh, really?
Marvel
Okay.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man I'm replaying because I got the PS5 controller, so I wanted to try out the haptic feedback and the responsive triggers and stuff, and it's pretty trippy. The haptic feedback is really cool actually. Like it feels really cool. Um, and yeah, Cyberpunk I've just been playing because I kind of need to change the pace from Hogwarts. I still haven't
Hmm.
finished Hogwarts yet,
Yeah, I'm still
but
working on Hogwarts
I
as
think I'm
well.
about to. Yeah, I think I'm about to finish it. It's just
I've been
I'm getting a
side
bit of
questing too much, man.
fatigue.
I've been
Yeah,
getting
I'm
side
getting wizard
questing.
fatigue.
I'm getting side
Yeah,
quest fatigue. I think that's what I need to just go jump into the main
the
missions and
stories,
stuff.
man. Yeah. Mm.
Oh, speaking of, I didn't put this on the rundown, so we might as well talk about it now. You bring up Spider-Man. So apparently, what's his name? Tony
Oh
Todd,
yeah.
the actor that's doing the voice,
Mm.
people recognize him from Candyman and whatnot. That's the thing he's most famous for. He's doing the voice of Venom in the game Spider-Man 2, and apparently he kind of like blurted out like, "Oh yeah, we're going to start like the marketing campaigns are going to start rolling in August and the game's going to come out in September." Like basically announcing like the whole schedule for
Oh
Spider-Man
wow. He, he's
2.
he's probably in trouble. Probably in a whole
Yeah.
lot of trouble right now.
So people said it was akin to like how Norman Reedus had kind of leaked, not leaked because it just came
Yeah.
from straight from announced, but
Death
kind of
Stranding. Yeah.
talked about Death Stranding 2, before it was announced by Kojima or any type of press or
That's a
whatever.
game I actually want. That's a game I actually want to try out. Apparently, that with the PS5 DualSense controller, all the
Hmm.
haptic feedback stuff and the adaptive triggers. Apparently, it's really good on Death Stranding. So I gotta give that a shot again.
I'm actually surprised. I was a little skeptical of that Spider-Man 2 was going to come out this year. There's like certain games like Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2. There's certain games that I'm like, well, I don't know if they're coming out this year, and Spider-Man 2 was one of them. But it sounds like everything's on track.
I guess
Um,
it is about time now that I think about it. It for me it doesn't. It feels like it's almost too soon, but that's because the PC versions didn't come out that long ago. Like the PlayStation
yes,
versions, like the PS, like yeah, the Sony version, or the PlayStation version came out a couple of years ago already. Yeah, so
but they
we are
had
due
Miles
for the second
Morales in
game.
between, though. Remember, Miles Morales came
Yeah,
out
but it was
about a
using all the
year and a
same
half ago.
assets
Yeah, true.
because once you got New York, you've got New York. They just
Yeah.
added snow on top of it. That's all. But the entire like the so like saved a lot of time. So they only had to focus on combat mechanics, which are really good. I do love Miles Morales.
Mhm.
I still enjoy the Spider-Man game more. Um, I don't know. It's just more my vibe.
Yeah.
More like more to do kind of thing, bigger game. But I don't know if it was the voice actor for Spider-Man or if it's the same guy you're talking about, but I think he also leaked a potential of Sandman coming back
Oh, I
in
think that.
Spider-Man 2.
Oh, I don't
Or is
know.
that like
I saw that the Sandman actor, the actor from the movies, had mentioned that like he would like to come back to the
oh,
like
is
a
that what it was?
spin-off movie or something.
I think I misheard it. I misread then probably, yeah.
Yeah, like he wanted to like expand on his character. But all right, let's move on to the Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Like official gameplay demo got released online where they showed about like 10, 13 minutes of gameplay, and they kind of went through everything. So this is, obviously the game is coming out on May 12th. Pretty soon. I did not play the first one, but apparently, it's awesome, and supposedly this second one's going to be great too. And supposedly Elden Ring had borrowed a lot of the open world kind of
the exploration aspects.
from it. And this is, I don't own a Switch, but this is definitely the number one game that I would play. The first one and this one, if I had it. So I watched the video and it looked cool. It had a lot of cool stuff, a lot of crafting stuff. The crafting seems a lot more intuitive than so for example, we talked about Elden Ring a lot, and Elden Ring for me, was awesome. I'm not a big crafter in games, to be honest. Like just in general games, I only craft like basically health packs are like the only thing I ever craft. This seems kind of cool because they make it a little more intuitive. Like if you want to shoot a bow and arrow and you want to add like a leaf to it or add like a whatever, it changes up how your bow is, like the whatever kind of properties it has and attack damage and whatever. So it just looks a lot more intuitive and something that seems much more user friendly instead of like going in and crafting this and that. It's like, okay, while I'm in the game, I just do this, and then I
will say that's the biggest thing Legend of Zelda. Well, pretty much every Legend of Zelda except for Skyward Sword, I think, it's incredibly intuitive. Like Legend of Zelda games are very intuitive. They try to make them as easy as possible to kind of play and understand, which I like. They added a lot of added a lot of mechanics to this new game, as you're mentioning. I'm enjoying it because it's the crafting is like minimal compared to it's not. I wouldn't consider it a crafting game. Like it has crafting in it, but it's not like a main focus. Like you can build yourself a little raft. You know what I mean? With like a propulsion unit, you can make car. Like I like the fact that you can build vehicles because they have a use. A vehicle has a use. You build a vehicle, you ride the vehicle. Like I'm also not a bit like it depends on the game, but like in Zelda, I wouldn't want to be crafting gear. You know what I mean? Because it's a puzzle game, really. Well, it's a lot of things in one, but there's a lot of puzzles in the game, so it makes sense for you to be able to build these little things and all these mechanics. It's looking really good. A lot of people talk about how Elden Ring took a lot from Legend of Zelda, which they did. But one of the things that doesn't get spoken about enough is Elden Ring Elden Ring is similar to Legend of Zelda in that Legend of Zelda doesn't tell you what to do. There's Ganon. You can go fight the end boss right away and die and lose, or you can go and do a bunch of other stuff and like build yourself up before you go and take on. So much like Elden Ring, there's no like direct path you have to take. You know what I mean? You can take other paths to get to where you need to be, and the game doesn't say, "Hey, go here, do this." It's just like, "Oh, I heard about this and this thing happening," and then you just got to go and figure it out yourself, explore it yourself. So that's what I love about the Legend of Zelda. And I'm really excited for this new game, man. I'm happy that I own a Switch so I can play it as well. It's coming across really good. It looks like it's well received as well. Everybody's excited about it,
Yeah, I saw like in the demo, it was cool. Like he had like a stick and he was carrying around, and he like attached a boulder to it, and then suddenly it became this big. He's just throwing away, or not throwing. He's attacking with this big boulder at the end of it, the branch. Just like kind of stuff like that is, I think, very creative and cool, and a lot of possibilities. Right? It was like remember how Half-Life 2, the gravity gun that was like not a real weapon. I love the
gravity gun.
Remember that wasn't a real weapon. That was like the developers fooling around, and then they found out like, you know what, this is awesome.
It can be a weapon.
And they put it in the game, and it's
a
just
great weapon.
but so there's like a lot of creativity with that weapon, right? And it seems
Yeah,
like
man. The
there's a lot
first
of
thing I did was I launched a toilet bowl at my friend with one in multiplayer. That's my very first interaction with a gravity gun was just launching a toilet at my friend and killing him with it. That was fantastic.
yeah. So it seems like there's this degree of creativity going on
Mm.
with
A lot of
traveling vehicles.
verticality, a
Yeah.
lot of verticality as well, because they got the whole Sky Island thing going on,
Yeah.
which is like I think that's kind of them. Well, they're doing their own thing. I don't think they directly took it from Elden Ring, but
Yeah.
Elden Ring also had a lot of verticality. It had the
It went
dungeons
down,
underneath, and
yeah, instead of up.
yeah, and there was multi levels and stuff. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it looks like they're doing that, but going up instead of down.
So yeah, you finished the original game? The
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Breath of the
I
Wild.
don't think I don't think I ever finished it properly though. Like I think the proper way to finish it is by defeating like the four big beasts or whatever, and
Mhm.
then going to fight Ganon. But I think I just did like I think I just did like three of them, and I was like, I'm tanky enough. Let's go and fight
Mhm.
Ganon. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that's a game big one of the biggest releases coming
I never
out.
got to the DLC, I will say. And actually,
Mhm.
I paid for the DLC and I never played the DLC. I do want to get to it because one of the DLC items is literally a motorcycle. And I want a motorcycle in that game. It's going to be tight.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that I've purchased that I haven't played or DLC.
Mm,
It's just crazy like how it is. Like when I was younger, it's like all this I had so much time and like I would just
dude, man.
eat up, you know what I mean? And now that I have like let's just say it, it's pretty much like an unlimited um flow of games, right? Like you could play all
Yeah,
the
dude,
good
it's
games.
nonstop now, man.
You could play all the good games that you could never finish them all, right? There's just so many. You have to pick and choose, right? You know, it's like you just can't play them all. And
Man, I
so,
remember when it was like one or two big games a year that would come out. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like back in
yeah,
the day. Now it's like it's like maybe 10 to 20 big like AAA games a year come out kind of thing.
yeah.
It's real difficult to to keep up with all of it, you know? And
Uh,
you oh yeah, I forget about DLC. Like I said, I was playing Spider-Man again. I have all the DLC there. Haven't even touched it years
mhm.
later, you know?
Speaking of big releases, AAA titles, we have Star Wars Jedi Survivor coming out very very
Soon.
soon, and
The game's on sale in most places, by the way. The
oh
original,
really?
it's on sale.
Oh, the
Yeah, like
original. I already own the original.
yeah, no, but yeah, for people who haven't played it, I think it's like 99% off or 95% off on most platforms because they obviously want to get more people to play the game so you can go get the sequel, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, most places like I don't know if it's still on sale, but I saw on Steam it was like 95% off or something. Like it was over here, I think like in total it was like at $6 or $7 for the game, you know,
Hmm.
full game. Pretty good.
Yeah, I think I own it on multiple platforms. I think I own it on Xbox. I own it on PC, like
We got it on
through,
Game Pass, yeah.
but not even
Game
that.
Pass.
Like I like own it through like EA Origin, and then I own it through
Well, because with Game Pass, you get
Amazon
EA.
Prime or something. I don't know.
Oh wow, you get EA. EA Play comes with Game Pass. That's how I got it through
Hmm.
EA. All right.
Yeah, and then so what'd you think of the story trailer?
Um, man, I'm blanking on it. I literally just watched it like an hour ago.
It's basically him older. You know, he's got a lot of friends with him this time. It seems less of a solo adventure. I mean, I know he had BD1, but what I mean is like, it seems like he's kind
Oh
of
yeah, there
like
we go. Yeah,
teaming up with
yeah,
people.
yeah.
You know,
It does seem less like it's gonna be a solo thing. You're right. Yeah. Well, because they did in the other trailer, they did showcase that other Jedi or Sith Lord or whoever it is that they're going to be like uncovering, you know what I mean, and
hmm
working with, or whoever that guy's going to be. Yeah, I try not to watch too much of the story trailers for this
hmm
game because the story is the best part of the game, and
hmm
I'd rather just go in not knowing much. That's the best way to do it. I'm still trying to get used to him having a beard, to be honest. You know, it looks a bit odd to me, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, this year when you talk about all the AAA titles this year, so far we can obviously say Hogwarts Legacy was one, right? This
Yeah.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor is going to be a second one. Obviously, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom is another one. Or am I missing anything so far from this past 3 months? I feel like Hogwarts
Um,
Legacy was the first actual like big AAA title, right? Like, Atomic Heart. I consider
yeah.
that's like a double A, right?
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was supposed to be AAA, but I don't think it came out as hot as they were expecting it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Oh yeah, there was Forspoken, which didn't have much of a like
yeah,
launch at all. You know what I mean?
no, and
Like I
there's
don't know anybody that's playing that game.
yeah, and then there was Dead Space, the remake, got a lot of great views, but I don't
Oh
know.
yeah,
I don't got
Callisto Protocol as well
the
came out.
well, no, that was end of last year. Callisto Protocol was end of
Oh, was
last
that in
year.
the last
Yeah,
year?
yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
Dead Space was January, but I don't consider remakes AAA releases because they're just remake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like this Resident Evil 4, we're going to talk about the remake, which got a lot of good reviews, but I don't consider that like a. It's just a remake remaster. It's great, and people are raving about it and having fun with it, but I don't consider them new. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I feel like
Unless
Hogwarts.
it's been like 15 years and it's remade from the ground up, then you know what I mean? Like it like if there was if they had to remake Half-Life, you know what I mean? Like now and like remake it from the ground up with a whole new engine, I would consider that a new game. Like, I don't remember half of the story from Half-Life 1 and 2, you know? No pun intended.
Yeah. So yeah, I am super excited for this one. This won't be on Game Pass, so it'll be like
Yeah.
one of the games I'll be purchasing
It'll be
this
on
year.
EA Play. It'll be on EA Play Plus though, or sorry, EA Play Pro is what they call it. It'll be on there probably. And probably get 3 days early access to that as well
Yeah.
on EA Play. Like most presumably, because they do that with all of their like big titles.
Yeah. April 28th is coming
yeah.
out. So I have a goal of I need to finish Hogwarts Legacy before then.
By then, yeah.
Yeah, by that time I need
Yeah,
to
man.
finish Hogwarts Legacy so I can play Jedi Survivor.
Dude, it's a great game, Hogwarts Legacy, but man, I will say it's just a touch too big, just a little bit too
Yeah.
long. Like I'm getting fatigue. Like I'm getting like Hogwarts fatigue, you know, wizard
Yeah.
fatigue at the moment.
I'm
Like
getting the side quest
yeah.
fatigue. I need to just kind of get back into the main mission and stuff. They
But the
there's
game is good. Like
it
the
is
side
good.
quests are good. Everything is good. It's just a lot of it. You
Yeah,
know?
like the demo, like I don't know where you're at, but the demo guys, like statues that you're supposed to find to level up your pick locking.
That's
skill.
tricky. You know.
There's just so many you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I guess when
I think I've only like leveled up my Alohomora once. You know, like it's so difficult to collect those things, dude.
but like for example, Elden Ring's an even bigger game, an even longer game. But there was like, I guess there was more stuff kind of in terms
Well, they
of
weren't
like
collectibles. They were just more like unique items.
yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
it was
There's not
much more incentive. That's the word for it to like go and
explore and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, explore and find new
Because
weapons.
the
and beat
gear
different
is
bosses.
whatever. Like yeah, you could go do a dungeon. You could go defeat that. Like you could go, you know, crawling around fighting some people. But the most you're gonna find is like some legendary gear that might look cool. But like you find gear every level. It doesn't matter if it's legendary or epic or whatever. As soon as you level up and get new gear, it's gonna be better anyways, whether it's legendary or not. You know.
Yeah.
So I agree. There's not much of an incentive to explore as much, except for the sake of story. Like you know,
I'm
that's
just
the
trying to
only reason
level
worth
up
exploring.
basically. All right, next big thing, Counter-Strike 2 got revealed like
buddy.
out of nowhere.
I'm excited about this
No one was
actually,
expecting this. I hadn't heard any leaks or rumors about. I mean, obviously, for years people have been talking about a Counter-Strike 2. You know, just due to the popularity of CS:GO. I personally was, you know, a pre 1.0 Counter-Strike player. You know, I was playing it back
same.
when it was like a mod
Oh wait,
for
pre
Half-Life.
1.0.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
I
I'm
only
old school
played
Counter-Strike.
1.6.
No,
I used to play 1.6, man. Yeah.
old school. I was playing it when it was basically it was a
Damn.
Half-Life mod. It was a Half-Life mod.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I mean 1.6. It was still a Half-Life mod on 1.6.
Yeah. No, I
But
was
yeah,
like pre 1.0.
Damn, that's crazy, dude. I don't. That's wild. Yeah.
But
Man,
anyways,
we're
I haven't
getting
kept up.
Old, Dennis.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with it, but you know, obviously CS:GO is a very popular game, and they released a summer 2023 for release window for Counter-Strike 2. It seems more like a 1.5, really, right? It's not like a huge overhaul of the game. They've
Does not have
they're
to be,
updating the
yeah.
graphics.
It's an engine update for sure in the sense of like a lot of the physics has changed, obviously, like the biggest one being the smoke physics
Mm-hmm.
and the overhaul on the color palette and stuff. uh, I will say as well, because no one's talking about this, and that's Valorant. There's no way in hell they would have done this if it wasn't for Valorant,
Mm-hmm.
because they never had a competitor, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? There was no other like 5v5 tactical shooter, plant the bomb kind of thing that was as popular, at least, you know what I mean? And then so Valorant comes out, it's super popular, pushes back. It's taking players from Counter Strike. People are coming from Counter Strike to Valorant all the time. Um, this is what's going to get me back to Valorant. I'm sorry, back to Counter Strike.
Mm-hmm.
I love Counter Strike, but I had to stop playing it because as someone who's colorblind,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm shooting a wall or a person half the time. Sorry, not the counter terrorists. The terrorists, they literally blend in with everything.
Mm-hmm.
For me as a colorblind person,
Mm-hmm.
and even I have friends who aren't colorblind who agree. They're like, it is a very bland color palette.
Yeah.
Like Counter Strike is a very bland game. You know what I mean? So there's the way it looks now. I can clearly see the people. I can clearly see the enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to play Counter Strike. The smoke looks great. You can shoot through the smoke, and it'll like actually like ripple through the smoke and leave little gaps in the smoke, so you can see through the smoke. Um, I know some people were worried about competitively, like, wouldn't that be dumb? Where it's like if you shoot through a smoke, someone's gonna see you through the hole you left and shoot you. But
Mm-hmm.
it's only like around the smoke. If you shoot right through the middle of the smoke, it's too thick to do it. So it's only on like the edges of the smoke where you can kind of shoot out, gets those little effects of like the bullets waving away, which is really sick. Um, Man, everything, yeah, like it's looking really good. The way the smoke fills up a room is changed. The graphics have changed. It's looking very polished. I know that I know, yeah, it must be. I don't know about the release date, but it's got to be soon because they
It
already
says summer
gave access.
summer 2023. That means June to August,
Yeah.
sometime then. I don't think
Because a
June
lot
though.
of a lot of YouTubers and streamers did play it like this past week. Like
Mhm.
they were given access to it. Only a couple maps playing it, so it's definitely pretty much done. You know what I mean? Pretty much good to go. Like I said, the only thing it really is like a physics kind of update and like a texture update. They can't change the gun controls because that's the very basis of the game. They can't. That would change the entire esport. So they can't change the way the gun mechanics work. You know?
Yeah. So this is a free update to CS:GO. They talked about some of the technology in terms of the moving beyond tick rate, showing off kind of like, hey,
yeah,
how
that's an
responsive.
interesting take. Yeah.
Yeah, how responsive it is, which is vital in these kind of competitive type
Esports,
games.
yeah.
Yeah, games.
It's to make sure that things are as accurate as possible in terms of like if
Firing
people have like
and
different-
hitting people.
Yeah, if people have different tick rates, then it's like yeah, it's difficult. Like I experience it in a much greater scale, obviously, because I live in South
Yes.
Africa. So I have the biggest ping. I have like 150, 160 ping.
Yeah, I don't think you're
So
going to be. I
yeah.
don't think you're competing in any competitions.
No, but now I might finally be able to take gaming seriously because Counter Strike is one of the only 3 games I know of in the entire world that has servers in South Africa.
Nice.
So I can finally play a shooting game with like 14 ping for the first time in years. You know,
Yeah.
it's looking good though, man. I'm really excited for this. It's gonna bring it's a breath of fresh air into the entire like community. You know what I mean? It's much needed. It's a much needed breath of fresh air.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Redfall. They basically gave a lot of hands-on preview to a lot of media outlets, and then they were allowed to make videos about it, and they talked about it. It was mixed to positive. I mean, I watched a lot of the positive ones, and like, I don't know. To me, from what I saw and what people were talking about, it seemed pretty cool. It seemed,
Yeah.
from my standpoint, like the whole thing is it's an open world, but they're making it so that there's kind of a story and kind of missions that like keep it fresh, you know?
It's got the co-op aspect as well, which is great.
Yeah. That was one thing I guess people complained about is because this hands-on preview was not, there was no co-op or multiplayer at all. It was all single player. So they didn't get to experience that. But from what I saw and from what I heard, it just seemed, much more interesting than like any type of standard.
I've heard that if you are a fan of arcane games in general, then this should be right up your alley.
Yeah.
in terms of the way it feels, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because it's the similarities to the Dishonored game. That's it. A lot of people said it feels a bit. You get. Well, then again, I think you also feel that way with Deathloop. Deathloop also feels very much like
mm-hmm.
Dishonored. Arcane has a very specific first-person shooter kind of feeling to it.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't into Deathloop like everyone else was. You were big into it,
Mm.
right?
I got into, actually, I'll tell you what, like in terms of shooting, in terms of like game mechanics, it's
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But the main mechanic of the whole loop aspect, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like having to uncover more information and learn
Mm-hmm.
more, and every single run, every single time you die, you learn more, you get further. That's quite cool. I will say that was quite cool.
Yeah. One other thing that they announced is they're going to reverse the whole always online requirement, which was a stupid thing
Yeah,
anyways. Like
yeah,
obviously with the co-op stuff, of course you need to be online, but
mm,
they had this always online requirement even for the single player. It's like, dude, if I want to play it by myself, I
it's
don't
so dumb.
want to always have. Look,
The best way to, yeah,
and I'm not complaining
go
for
for it.
myself because I'm always online anyways. I don't really care. But for other people who aren't or don't have access to, consistent,
I mean,
online
that's
stuff.
literally my entire country, if you think
Yeah.
about it. Especially people with like laptop gamers and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Again, like yeah, my brain just broke for a second.
But anyways, this game is coming out. Redfall is coming out May 2nd, so that's another AAA title coming out this
Yeah,
year.
I will say I am still excited for this though, regardless, because I need a good. It's been a while since a good co-op shooters kind of come out that I could
Hmm.
enjoy. I wasn't happy with Back for Blood, so definitely looking
Yeah,
forward to
I
that aspect.
enjoyed Back for Blood to a certain extent. One,
It
it
was a
got a
little
little
glitchy.
repetitive. Got a little repetitive, and also for me, the not learning curve, the difficulty curve kind of just shot up out of nowhere. Like I was playing the
Mm.
game fine, and then I got to one
You were
map.
playing alone though, right?
No, I played with other people online.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because if you're playing alone, the difficulty curve is insane. Yeah,
Yeah,
out of
yeah.
nowhere you just get swarmed and you're dead.
No, I was playing with other people online, and we were fine. And then once we got to that one, there's one level. And it's actually a pretty cool level, but it was just we kept dying, which was the this one level where you go to like this house, abandoned house, and you've got to like get I forgot what it was, like the nuclear thing to launch or whatever. Anyways, it was a
Yeah.
cool level, but we kept dying and dying and dying. So, anyways, and that was probably a good halfway to 2/3 away through the game. So, anyways, Redfall 2 or Redfall, the first game. I'm
Yeah.
excited for it.
Oh, that's right. I remember what I was gonna say now. It was about them doing the reverse always on thing. I'm thankful that they're doing that because it's hella annoying with certain games.
Mm-hmm.
I think like some like Steam's okay with the whole offline connection thing. Like you can run. Most games don't require an online connection to confirm because it's like if Steam has confirmed that you own the game and then it runs in offline mode. I don't know how long it lasts, but I feel like Game Pass needs to have a thing where it needs to just verify once a month. Like it just needs an online connection once a month to be able to know that your subscription's going, so you can still keep playing the games on offline mode kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's definitely a step in the right direction. Like we do need to start looking more at that because there's a lot of time. There have been a lot of games I've played in the past where it's like it's dumb that I'm playing the single player, but I have to have an online connection. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
And like the game's not server based; it's like based
Yeah.
off the hardware.
Oh. All right. We mentioned this before. The Resident Evil 4 remake came out.
Mm.
A lot of like good reviews. I think IGN gave it a 10. A lot of people very positive. They're basically saying this classic game has just been improved, like much like the Dead Space, where it's like it keeps the same as the original, just improves the like small things that were wrong with the first game,
Yeah.
and that's what they're doing with Resident Evil 4, which is interesting because Resident Evil 2 kind of got the same reception. Resident Evil 3, I'm talking about the remake. Resident Evil 3, the remake, didn't get quite a warm reception from fans and critics. Like people said it felt a little bit rushed. So I think they took a little bit longer with 4, especially since 4 is so beloved in the
Yeah.
franchise.
It's
But
it's
yeah,
it's a big one. Yeah.
a lot of positive stuff coming about Resident Evil 4. I guess they're making a
Mm.
VR version for. They already made a VR version for the
Three,
Quest,
I think
but
it
no, no,
was.
no. But they're making
No.
a VR version for the PSVR 2 of Resident
Okay.
Evil 4. I think that's what they're working on. So
Yeah, I mean, Resident. I played Resident Evil 7 Village. Not
hmm
Village. Wow, sorry. Village was the eighth one, right? Yeah, I played Resident Evil 7. The one that had
yeah.
PSVR.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that was
Anyways,
7.
I played that in VR. It was an amazing VR experience, I will
Yeah.
say. Now it worked really well on PSVR, except as soon as you like glitch through an item, it's no longer scary or immersive. Like
hmm
if you're being chased, it's horrifying, but if you glitch through the guy who's trying to kill you, it's like okay, whatever,
Well, now the tangible, like, it doesn't
Yeah.
look as
So
tangible anymore.
I think I said this before in like a podcast like 2 years ago, but it was scarier to play the non VR version because the gameplay is smoother, like it's a smoother transition kind of thing. But it was a fun game in VR. Like it was actually a really fun game in VR.
Yeah, I played Resident Evil 4, the Quest version in VR, and it was fun. The one thing, it was tough. It was hard. You know, especially with the VR mechanics, the things that are
Yeah.
very easy to do, especially like the kicking and whatnot, aiming, which is much easier to do in a
I
2D
guess the one,
game.
yeah, the one I played kind of worked for VR because you're mainly just hiding and you're mainly just hiding. Like
hmm
that's basically the whole game, hiding and collecting
hmm
things. You know what I mean? And that kind of works quite well in VR,
Yeah.
hiding and lurking.
Is this something you're planning on getting? The Resident Evil 4 remake?
I don't know. I don't know. Like if I do, the thing is I don't remember much from Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3.
hmm
And I do if I'm gonna get back into it, I'd probably replay 1 and 2,
hmm
possibly on an emulator or something. Um,
Well,
I don't
two
know.
you
I feel
two
I need
you
to
can get the
catch up. Yeah.
remake. Two you can get the
Yeah,
remake.
there was like an HD remaster of the first one that came out
Mhm.
like not really, it's like a it's just an upscale texture version of it. I know that that came out on PlayStation a couple years ago. There's a PS Plus game as well at some point. I just wonder if there's a PC version of that.
Yeah.
Man, this is why I'm so pissed that PS Now doesn't exist anymore. They had to make it a freaking tier subscription service where it's like, oh, you want our streaming service? You got to pay for all this other crap too, just to get our streaming service that you used to be able to pay for separately at a cheaper rate. And that you used to be able to use on your PC.
Mhm.
You used to be able to stream PlayStation games on your like how did Sony think, "Oh, you know what? Let's remove this incredible feature we have." You could literally stream PlayStation games onto your Xbox. And
They
Sony was like, "Nah, that's not a cool feature." Like
they want to save the money
that's
on
the
their
dumbest
streaming
thing, man.
bandwidth. That's what they want to do.
Yeah, probably. I
Yeah.
hate that they like because now the thing is, like I said, do what you want with the tier system, but they completely removed the PC functionality of it.
Yeah.
Like they completely removed it, as far as I know. Like, which is just dumb. Oh well.
Uh,
Anyways,
yeah.
I do want to play Resident Evil 4. I just want to play the first three, just to catch up again.
Yeah. All right. The next thing, let's talk about The Last of Us. There's a lot of news surrounding it. Let's start off with first the show. Bella Ramsey says season 2, will probably arrive in 2 years. So it's actually, I had thought
That's good, though. That's good.
I thought it was going to come out early 2024 because that it released obviously the beginning of this year. So I thought, okay, they're probably still writing, they're gonna shoot it, and then by early 2024. But they're saying late 2024, early 2025. That's a long time away.
Yeah, I think it's smart though. I think it's a smart decision. Let Bella, for one, let her age more.
Mhm.
Like I know a lot of fans are kind of upset that they cast her again in the second season, and I also was upset in the sense of like she needs to age. You know what I mean? But like 2 years, look, it's not gonna hit. It's like 2 years isn't gonna hit her like a brick wall. You know what I mean? But it does like first of all, I don't know. I think 2 years is a good gap. It gives people the time to age a bit more. First of all, it allows Pedro Pascal to do some other projects, and I love to see Pedro Pascal in other projects. It's just good to see him, so it gives her a bit of time to age. You know what I mean? I think that's smart.
Yeah.
Um,
I think they're
I think
trying to figure out what to do with season 2 because they obviously
it's
going
only
to
gonna
have
be half. Yeah, they're
yeah,
gonna have to
part 2 is
find
going
a
to have to be
breaking
2
point.
seasons, yeah. And
Yeah,
how
they're
they
gonna have to find a how do they cut it up? That's the real question.
yeah, I think they should intertwine the story of why am I blanking on her name? Abby, that's her name. I'm hoping that they start the season with her backstory. Basically, I think that season 2 should start with her as a kid and basically going through that kind of her perspective straight off the bat, you know? So I'm kind of hoping that she gets a much better reception in the TV show than she got from game
In the game.
fans.
Yeah.
I personally, I thought it was great that they showed her perspective and showed these two different characters and showing how neither one was really the good guy or really the bad guy. You know what I mean? Like they both had
Yeah.
their own reasons why they were doing stuff, you know, but people just were already attached to Ellie. And so they felt like, oh, Abby.
I do love it when stories
Yeah.
do that though, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like no one's born evil.
Yeah.
You know? No one is born with hatred. It's people live a long life that leads to you know,
Yeah.
to certain things. No one's born evil. You have to become it, you know what I mean? And life's all about gray areas. It's not all black and white, you know?
Yeah. So I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't played the game yet. But anyways, I do think it's going to be 2 seasons. I hope they intermix the 2 different perspectives and build it up. But yeah.
By the time we get a 3rd season, I'm pretty sure Last of Us Part 3 will probably be out or about to be out or something,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. All right.
And then they can have another 2 seasons.
Last of Us related news is that the Part 1 PC has been released. They had a launch trailer, but apparently the PC version itself has been basically slammed with negative reviews. If you go to Steam, you'll see it's mostly negative. Basically, the biggest complaints isn't that, you know, obviously everyone loves the game and loves the performances and story and everything like that. All the slams are about the not the acting performance, it's about the PC performance. Basically, it runs like crap. I saw one guy had I was watching a video, I forgot the name of the YouTuber, but he had a 4090, and when they were building the shaders, he said it took 15 minutes to build the shaders on a 4090. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
And people
I was about to say, because from what I've seen and heard, people were saying they were complaining that it does take a long time to compile the shaders, but on systems that just barely meet the game's requirements, which I was like, well, that makes sense. If your system just barely meets the game's requirements, you know what I mean? Yeah. But dude, a 4090, 15 minutes, come on. Yeah. Hogwarts takes a while to load up to compile its shaders as well. It has that big loading thing in the beginning.
It's a few minutes, yeah.
It's a few minutes, but it's worth it.
But you and me are on 2060, you know? Obviously, it's not.
We're 2 generations old. We're mid now. We're pretty mid-range.
Yeah.
And that's me being nice, you know? Some people would consider us on the low end now.
I wouldn't say low end. I would say mid, because we're kind of below where the PS5 and Xbox Series X are, but we're definitely ahead of the Xbox, whatchamacallit?
Series
Xbox.
S. Yeah.
Whatever that, around there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because it's basically the PS5 and Xbox One X, a Series. I just blanked on what the new Xbox is called. Is it the Series X?
Series X. The old one was Xbox One X.
Yeah, that was So they're basically 2070. They're basically 2070s, and we've got 2060s.
Yeah.
That's the best way to look at it. Yeah. So we're not far behind. It would be nice to have a 4080 though, Dennis. It would be nice, you know.
I think I saw it on sale for $1,500 or something like that, just for the card.
I did see a really good price on a 3060, so I might upgrade to a 3060.
I've seen some good full PC prices for 3070s, not 3060s, but 3070s for around $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. That's not bad for the whole computer.
I was gonna say for the whole thing, that's pretty decent actually.
Yeah. That's probably gonna be my next step. I never get the high, whatever. If it's 4090, I'm not getting the 4090 if that's the top end. I always get the one generation below.
I've been seeing some 3060s for about $500 ish, which is not too bad, you know.
Yeah, I think I want to get a
that's
3070 now. Though. Yeah, I think I want to get a 3070.
I'd rather get a 3070 if possible. 3080 is going to be too. Anyways, this is what graphics card talks over here. The point is, Last of Us
Last of
came
Us
out.
part,
It takes forever to compile the shaders.
and
It's
it just
incredibly
bugs.
resource heavy, and it's
Bugs
bugs. Yeah.
and glitches. People, I don't know if you saw the video I sent you, but like they're like making fun of all the glitches, like with the like
Mm,
Joel's eyebrows are all messed up, and people's like faces have all kinds of. To be honest, that happened in Hogwarts Legacy. They did patch it,
yeah.
so it's not that bad anymore. But in the very beginning with Hogwarts Legacy, was the performance wasn't great, and they did have a
Yeah.
lot of glitches and bugs. But apparently, this is like way worse than Hogwarts
Oh,
Legacy.
dude. This guy said he had 14 crashes in basically 5 hours of gameplay.
Yeah,
Imagine like 14 crashes in 5 hours
yeah.
of gameplay is a lot for like proper big crashes, like full on crashes.
Yeah. So they did release a patch, but I don't know how much
Mm.
is it
Well,
fixing.
probably not much because they seem to be pushing that another patch is on its way pretty hard.
Yeah.
And if they're pushing a second patch after this first, then you know the first patch isn't doing much. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If they're already very much focused on the
Yeah.
next patch, then
I
yeah.
feel like this patch was already built before the complaints, and they're like, "Oh, quick, release it. We gotta,
Yeah, get another patch out. Yeah, that is unfortunate considering how big the game is and how much time they had and how much money they had. Like it's a bit disappointing that it's not. It should have been. They should have. The thing is though, like this is the one place where studios always fall short. Optimization. A
Yeah.
lot of studios make an amazing game and then they just never optimize it for like multiple consoles and PC rigs and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
That's
It's
why
it's
Atomic
sad.
Heart got a lot of praise for its PC optimization. Like it
Yeah.
runs very well considering what the graphics are. You know, like I remember, I only played a little bit of it, but like from what I was playing, I was like, wow, this is pretty smooth. You know, considering what the graphics were. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be. Yeah, there's like some sort of trend right now, especially with PC versions.
Yeah, a
Um,
lot of yeah. I will say that that was an issue with another like Sony game that came to PC. I forgot. Also had like wasn't optimized very well. Eventually they did. Like a good example of great optimization for a port is God of War. That thing was optimized so well for
mhm,
PCs. They did a fantastic job with that port. You know.
yeah. Um, all right, moving on. Diablo 4, also another
Oh
AAA
yeah.
title coming out this year. So the beta had started on March 17th, and like one of the ways to get it was to buy
KFC Double Down or
a
something.
double
Or,
yeah a double down from KFC
yeah.
via the app. And then you get the beta access, which is great. They must have sold so many double
Yeah,
downs off
the
this
double
thing.
down's so good as well though. Like, have you had the double down before?
It's a little. I look. I love fried chicken,
Yeah,
but I think the
too
double down
much.
is a little too much for me with the cheese and the bacon between.
Yeah.
Like it's not even
Oh,
bread. It's like using the
dude, it's
two.
so good. Yeah,
I,
it's chicken. There's no bread.
yeah,
The chicken is
yeah,
the bread. You know?
exactly. I'm
It's
sure it's
so good.
tasty. It just seems like a bit
Oh,
much.
it's a heart attack for sure. Yeah, but
Yeah.
so good. There were other ways to play the game too.
Hmm.
I'm not too sure. Like, I'm not too sure how, because like I told you earlier today, I had a lot of friends who were playing the game. Like this
Well, there
past
was an
past week.
open beta March 24th to 26th, so
Oh,
that is
that's what it
over
was. Yeah,
now.
yeah. So they did.
Um,
Yeah, they did that. Like, I basically didn't do any online gaming because all my friends were just binging Diablo,
mhm,
and I didn't have the time to like kind of look into it. Or by the time I
mhm.
figured out it, well, like
It was
by the
going
time I
on.
found out it was like the last day, and I was like, I don't think it's worth installing all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of my friends who played it though said it was really good. Necromancer is broken as hell, so they need
Mhm.
to balance that. They need to balance that class. That's it. Yeah, supposedly the Necromancer is super broken. It's way too overpowered, kind of thing, which sucks because it's my favorite class. Well, it doesn't suck that it's overpowered. It sucks because I know they're gonna nerf it, and I'm
Mhm.
scared that they nerf it too much. I hope that they balance it out so it balances well with the other classes. But yeah, it's looking good, man. It's looking really good. I'm excited to try it out. And it's like I like the fact that they have a horse, so you can move around. Because one of the
Mhm.
most biggest pain in the ass of Diablo 3 for me was going back to like you want to explore every single area to make sure you've killed everyone and gotten all the loot because it's a loot grinder. You know what I mean? To get
Mhm.
legendary loot and stuff. And then it would take you like 15 minutes of like walking around, backtracking empty areas you've already gone through. Horse
Mhm.
makes it a way quicker and easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they had that 8-player multiplayer, like big open world boss battle mode thing.
Yeah,
I
that
haven't
looked
seen
cool.
much gameplay of that, but that looks cool. Because it's
Yeah.
always been a 4-player game, but a player sounds pretty cool, you know?
Yeah, so the game launches on June 6th, another AAA title like we mentioned. So yeah, we're
Oh
starting
yeah,
to.
server issues. It had really bad. People were complaining about server issues and
Mm-hmm,
connectivity issues. This is not new. Every single time Blizzard releases a game,
mm-hmm,
it has like sorry, every single time Blizzard does an open beta, it has server issues.
mm-hmm.
Every single time. So there's got to be something there that keeps like happening. Because I remember when Diablo 2 Resurrected came out, also a huge thing, server issues, queues. It would take hours just to get into the game because of queue lines. You know what I mean? I think it was the same thing with Warcraft 3, the open beta for that, the Reforged. But yes, every time they do an open beta, they have server issues. And I'm guessing it's like when they do an open beta, they just have like one little tiny server room and they're like, okay, this is for the open beta. And it's probably so tiny. But when the game does come out, I highly doubt it's going to have server issues. I highly doubt it.
Yeah,
Um,
hopefully.
I'm pretty sure.
I
Yeah,
mean,
they'll
that's the
probably
crux. That's like the crux of the
yeah,
game, right?
they'll
It's not.
dedicate way more. I think they learned from the previous Diablo Resurrected. It had that connectivity issues, but it had it on launch as well. Like not just during the open beta, like during when the game launched for like a couple week for like a week or so. It was
Mhm.
dude, it would take like an hour to get into the game. I think you had to like the queue times were rough, man.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to this. This is kind of an ongoing thing, but I guess it raises a bigger question. So Ubisoft, Sega, and Tencent have pulled out of E3 2023. We already
Mm.
know that Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo would not be going, and now, you know, those the big three weren't going, and now like even like these larger third party companies are starting to pull out. It's like, is E3 going to even happen this year? And if it happens, like what kind of, they're going to have to like downscale it a lot, right? I mean, usually they used to have the two different halls, you know, like because it was so big. Like usually like Nintendo would be in one area. Nintendo and Sony, I think, were in one area, and Xbox and like the bigger third parties were in another area. And this year it's like, I don't even know if they can fill like the smaller hall at this point, you know? So
So what? I forgot what E3 stands for. I think it was
it
entertainment,
it's electronic
electronics.
entertainment expo. That's what it.
That's what it was. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they're gonna have to branch into electronics. You know, maybe get a couple. Maybe Samsung shows up. You know,
Yeah,
shows off their new kitchen appliances or
yeah.
something. Because they got nothing, dude. They like I have no idea. Like most likely it's gonna get canceled. Either that, or they're gonna make it an online event only,
Mm-hmm.
like an online stream thing, and keep it strictly indie, which could be good. Maybe not for the event. The event's not going to make money, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
it'll be good for the indie developers to have like a dedicated indie expo, you know what I mean? That like
Yeah.
gets big attention. Because I think that's what it's maybe not indie, but like smaller developers to like double A studios. Maybe it's their time to shine now at E3. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows?
Yeah. All right. Moving on. God of War inspired TMT, the last Ronin game in the works. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So apparently there was a comic book series for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's, you know, one of those kind of like alt universe ones where like I haven't read it yet, but apparently it's like only one of the turtles is still alive.
Yeah,
Um,
it's usually either well, I'm blanking now. It's usually the dude with the red one, which not
Raphael.
Michelangelo.
Raphael.
Raf, yeah. So
Yeah.
I believe it's usually him, but there is a version where it's Michelangelo, and
Mm.
like he loses his brothers, and he like goes from being like like the yeah pizza
Yeah.
rah, like, he goes from being that guy to like super serious, like my brothers have been murdered.
Yeah.
I'm out for blood.
I
Like
actually
it's
am interested in
the Last
reading
Ronin's
this.
awesome, dude. Yeah, I was gonna say you should. It's actually really good. It's like the more edgy, serious take on
Well, that's the
Teenage
thing
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
is
Yeah.
so the thing about TMNT is it actually has a whole special place in my heart because I actually read and bought the comics before it turned into a cartoon, and the
Oh wow.
comics originally were black and white, and they were all serious like this one. It
Mm.
wasn't until they signed the cartoon deal that they blew up, and the cartoon deal turned them into the pizza loving, joking
No,
around.
more
So they,
teenager than anything
yeah,
else. Yeah.
exactly. So when you said, oh, the one with the red in the show, yes, like Leonardo had the blue, Donatello had the
Yeah.
purple, Michelangelo had the yellow, Raphael had the red. In the original comic book, it was a black and white comic book, but
Oh.
on the covers, all their bandanas were red. So all of them had
Oh,
red.
that's sick. That's actually kind of sick. Yeah.
And the only difference was their weapons. Right? Obviously, their personalities were different. So it was
Yeah.
very serious. It was a very serious comic book. And so apparently, The Last Ronin's kind of like harkens back to that style. I
Yeah.
actually want to go
I
pick it
highly
up for this.
recommend it, dude.
But anyways,
It's
back to the
yeah.
anyways, back to the game. They are planning on making a AAA title that's going to be based on this, and and it's being inspired by God of War, which is great. You know, this sounds like a great match. If they put the
Look,
right
man,
team and resources, this sounds like a fantastic game.
they can say what they want to say, and by God of War inspired, what they mean is third person action,
Yeah,
but it's gonna have so much stealth.
yeah,
Like it's gonna have so much stealth that you can't relate it to God of War. It's gonna be more like the newer Assassin's Creed games, if I had to like guess what I think it's gonna be like. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like Assassin's Creed, but like ninja vibe. You know what I mean? I just see a lot of stealth, a lot of fighting for sure, but also a lot of stealth. Either way, I'm super stoked for this. I'm also really hoping that this gets more attention, and then maybe we get a movie as well.
yeah.
That's just me hoping. I would love a Last Ronin movie. This actually there's so much like I know that we're a gaming channel, but there's so much lore behind Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and there's so many different spin-offs. I'm guessing you haven't probably read the comic books in years, but
No, I haven't.
there are some like amazing like stories about Michelangelo later on about like losing his brothers and like
Hmm.
learning the mythic arts, and he's basically like a mythic martial artist. I don't know, it's really cool. There's so many like cool edgy stories attached to it, which is interesting that I only found them recently because, as you mentioned, for me, my childhood was like cowabunga,
Hmm.
pizza, whoa, and they were very cartoony looking. I've never ever seen them as like a more serious
Hmm.
aspect. But yeah, no, they're badass, man. I think they had that. There was that movie with Batman that was so sick. That
Yeah.
that came out like a year, well, like probably 2 3 years ago
Hmm.
or recently. It was a really good DC movie with
Yeah.
yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Batman.
Nice.
There's a
Well,
fight between Shredder.
they
There's a
have a
fight
new
between Shredder and Batman. It's so sick.
yeah. There's a new animated movie that's coming out, but I think it's more of the younger cartoony style
I
or
think it's
whatever.
based on the current cartoon series.
They're
Yeah.
actually trying to do this Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse style, like the
Oh,
animation.
that
So
could
I
be
think
quite cool.
yeah, the
Oh, you know what?
trailer.
There was a movie recently, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie recently that came out that was kind of like that.
Hmm.
It was a time traveling movie kind of thing.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, that's going to be years off. We're not going to see that, if it actually
Yeah.
gets made, we won't see that for like 5 years. But
Yeah, what
anyways,
studio? Wait, what studio did?
it's like,
Do we know what studio this is? They're gonna work on this.
I think it's like part of Paramount.
Polygon
Yeah.
interviewed Doug Rosen, senior vice president for games and emerging media at Paramount. Paramount
Yeah.
Global.
Yeah. So
Okay.
hopefully they
Paramount
hire,
getting into the gaming place.
yeah, but
Okay.
hopefully they hire a good developer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope so too, man. Because
Yeah.
this could be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't. The thing is though, like, funny enough, I don't see this being bad. Because I think the worst case scenario is they release a mediocre game,
Hmm.
kind of like Shadow of Mordor, which was like, well, it got a good release, but it was like mediocre to good, somewhere around that like place. It was fun, it was enjoyable,
Hmm.
but it wasn't like an amazing game.
Yeah.
It was a good action RPG
Yeah.
though, like
Yeah.
just short.
All right, moving on. We mentioned this before. PlayStation VR 2,
Hmm.
unfortunately, has. There's a report. I don't think it's like official, but the reports are that they only expect to sell 270,000 units. I mean, this is being reported by Bloomberg, so this is, pretty solid source. 270,000 units by the end of March. They shipped or tried to ship like 2 million, or they're trying to ship 2 million by the end of the year. It's like, at this rate, you're not even going to get close to 2
Do you
million
think
units.
do you think that they're going to be more focused on hardware sales or software sales? Like get the headset into people's hands so that they can spend more money on games, or make money off of the headset itself?
Well,
Because if they're trying to make money off the headset itself,
I
like
hope
make
not.
it so that it's like make it so that it's accessible to PC as well, because I would love to buy one for PC, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't have a PS5, so I'm not gonna get one.
Yeah, I mean, the hardware has been rated pretty high, and the games. A lot of the
Yeah.
games are. I feel like there's two things running against it. One, we already have, which is the headset. The headset is
Mm-hmm.
the expense. It's $550.
Yeah, it's
I said this
expensive,
from the beginning. If you look at our old podcast, I've mentioned it many times, and I'm sure you have too. It's like you can't sell a $550 unit along with paying for a $500 PS.
Yeah. It's
Your
$1,000 experience, you know.
$1,000 without any games. That's your
Yeah.
$1,000 with zero games, right? So that's already too much. I had thought originally that 400 was like tops what they could sell it, but they came in at 550. I was like, you need to sell this for 400 or less. It's 550. That's number one. And number two, while they do have a lot of games that launch with it, I think they said about 42 games. Only one of them is like an exclusive title, which is the Horizon Call of the Mountain. Everything else, I think you can get somewhere else. Maybe Gran Turismo might be exclusive as well. But like basically,
There's a
lot of
couple other things that I know that are exclusive, but they're more like experiences than games, you know?
Yeah, so this does not bode well.
It's unfortunate because, like you said, the hardware is amazing, and I do wish that or maybe someone can figure out a way to jailbreak it at some point, because then I would buy it.
Well,
for
some
PC.
people have.
Yeah.
What I read is they were able to get the headset itself to work on PC, but not the controls. So like
Not
you
the
would
controls.
see VR game, like if you bought a PC VR game, you could see the game running on the headset, but the controls didn't work with it. So
Well, I'm sure eventually people are going to jailbreak it. So yeah, and if that does happen, I might actually grab myself a headset, unless Quest 3 comes out, which kind of matches or gets closer to that.
well,
hardware specs.
Quest 3 is coming out at the end of this year, probably October, November.
When's Facebook Connect? Because I'm assuming
It's
we'll see more
it's
of that.
October. It's always like October.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay,
so
yes,
usually
we're
what
way
they
off,
do
yeah.
is they do connect in like October, and they release the newest version in November, and so
And then Christmas.
so
booming,
expect Quest 3 around that time, and it's actually going to be more expensive than the Quest 2. They're going to
I would assume so. Yeah.
they're going to keep the Quest 2 around as kind of how like Apple does their like iPhone Pro and then the lower end model. So basically they're going to have a lower end model, which is the Quest 2 that's already out. They'll probably they'll probably slash the prices on that. And then I think this is speculation, but I think the Quest 3 will probably be $500. And
Look, if it can get close to if it can match the specs of the PSVR 2, I would get it.
I don't know if it's
I
gonna.
would get
It's
it, yeah.
still an Android-based platform, so it's not gonna get close. But it is definitely gonna be a lot better than Quest 2. The speculation is gonna be twice as powerful as the Quest 2.
Yeah, look,
which is pretty good.
Up the resolution, up the field of view.
Yeah.
And that's already two big things that I'd be happy with. And then also, like the one thing that I wish they did have is just a little bit more wiggle room with the way you adjust the lenses. You know what I mean? Like the 3 settings is not exactly the best solution for some people. You know.
From what I heard is that they're going to focus on comfortability and AR. So like it's gonna, because the Quest Pro came out end of last year. They're gonna take kind of the best things from the Quest Pro
Office space kind of stuff. Yeah.
and integrate it with the Quest 3. So it's gonna be lighter. It's gonna be pancake style lenses. So it's gonna be lighter weight. So it's not as heavy. I mean, the Quest 2 was already much lighter than the Quest 1, and now the Quest 2 feels heavy, which is funny because I used the Quest 1 for so long. But now the Quest 2 is feeling a little heavy, so they're gonna reduce the weight. And then it's going to be twice as powerful. And then, hopefully, the AR stuff is going to be much better. Because right now the Quest 2, you can do a pass through, but it's black and white. The lenses aren't great, So
it's the way you look through like the Guardian, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So hopefully the Quest 3 will have a nice color pass through and very clear, and that you can actually use it for that reason. Because
I mean, lighter makes sense too, because you want people to be in the metaverse longer, spending more time there, getting more used to it, therefore spending more money in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So anyways, the PSVR 2 is struggling, and they need to they need to do a combination of things. One is reducing the price, and then two
Or at least
is
offer like an affordable bundle of the two together. You know what I mean?
they
Possibly.
did a bundle and it's like $50 off. Basically, they're
That's
doing
so
like,
dumb.
yeah,
That's so
it's like,
dumb, dude.
yeah, you can
Because
basically,
I think there was a bundle when the first PSVR came out. I think there was like a bundle version, and you ended up saving like at least $100 if you
no,
ended
I
up
think you
getting it.
save
I
$50,
think.
I think. So,
Yeah, that sucks, dude.
yeah. All right, let's move on. So basically, there was a big Unreal Engine State of
Yeah.
Unreal event. I think last week.
This was exciting news for me, and well, I think for a lot of people, it's always exciting to see like the new Unreal like tech demos and see where Unreal Engine's going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so Unreal 5 obviously is a big deal, and they've updated to 5.1. So apparently 5.2 is coming out pretty soon. And the biggest thing that they announced was the Unreal Editor for Fortnite, which basically
Yeah.
makes it so like you can create your own games, your own maps, your own games, and they're making it easy to do. I mean, it's not going to be like super easy where it's like drag and drop, but like they're going to have a lot of
Yeah.
very easy to do things within Unreal to make it so that you can create your own game types. And
Couple YouTube tutorials and you'll be able to use it easy. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It does look a bit complicated at first, but when you compare it to like actual Unreal Engine,
yes,
it's easy. You know?
yes. They even coming out with a new scripting language called Verse, so it's going to help kind of so that you can customize all the different parts of the
Best
games.
part about this, Dennis, is that if you make a game mode that does really well, that has like microtransactions or whatever,
Mhm.
or if you monetize it, I forgot what the percentage is, but I think Fortnite said you get like a 40% of whatever I think it's either 40 or 50%. I gotta find the percentage, but they're giving you a percentage of whatever like that game makes. That if you make a game within the thing, you know what I mean? Which is quite cool. Very different from Blizzard's approach of hey, if you make a game, we own it. Uh, very different from that approach.
Yeah.
I will say I haven't used Unreal Editor, but the maps you make in Unreal Editor you can just upload straight to Fortnite. So I played all the maps that they showed off in the trailer in the
Mhm.
video that you saw. I played them all on my PC and it looked incredible, Dennis. Like it
Nice.
genuinely looks incredible. Some of the stuff looks almost real. Like it's weird that it's Unreal. It's weird that
Yeah.
it's Fortnite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some of the footage you look like you watch and you're like this is almost like Call of Duty kind of. You know what I mean? Um, Speaking about Unreal Engine, though, this is something I wanted to talk about briefly, which is a lot of people and a lot of reviewers have been saying that a lot of these Unreal Engine 5 games have a very similar style, and therefore
Mhm.
there's like a certain blandness to Unreal Engine 5. To which I would say, like a lot of people are saying, it feels like resources are lifted and just used all the time. And that's because they are.
Yeah.
Unreal Engine 5 is still not like new. It hasn't been around long enough to the point where people are making their own custom. What's the word I'm looking for? Custom, not decals. Whoa, I'm
Models?
blanking on the word.
What?
Texture packs,
Mm,
essentially.
yeah.
So a lot of the texture packs you're seeing in Unreal Engine 5 games are all the same because they are just using all the same textures and lifting a lot of the same trees and stuff. That's why
Well,
a lot
Unreal
of like
gives them for free.
terrain.
The
Exactly.
Quixel
It gives it to you
the,
for free.
yeah,
So that's why all the
executives.
worlds kind of look the same and people are complaining about it. I'm like, well, give it a year or two. People will come up with their own textures and their own stuff. Once they put in a lot more effort, that's when you're going to see the engine shine, you know?
Yeah.
But this looks great. And then they also did the Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga. They
Yeah.
showed the facial
Yeah, it looks
animations and the
great.
stuff.
Real
That
time
was
too.
crazy. Yeah, or I don't think it was real time, but it was basically real time. They filmed the video and then like literally a
Yes.
minute later it was ready.
Yeah.
So it's almost real time. Like it's
Yeah.
basically real time. It's so quick. To the point where I saw that and I was actually thinking about the future of VTubers and stuff.
Yeah.
Eventually that stuff is going to be real time and that's going to be your filter. Like
Yeah.
I mean Snapchat filters are already crazy. Imagine that as a Snapchat filter. That'd be insane. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So yeah,
Um
a lot of big news from State of Unreal. Basically, more on the obviously the developer side, but it's going to help
mm,
with games that we're going to see in the future, and also help with especially with this Fortnite thing, like user created content. I think that's probably a big component in a lot of future games, right? Being able
it
to
was
create your own
40%
world.
by the way. Sorry, I just read now it was 40%. You get 40% of the game's net revenues
Mm-hmm.
of whatever game that you build within this
Yeah.
Unreal Editor.
Yeah, so it's people have incentive to create
Mhm.
new maps, and some people are doing it for fun, but at least there's tools for people
They've
that want to
already
do it.
they've already remade they've already remade the original map, which I think
Yeah,
is crazy. People are playing Fortnite, but the original map from like years ago.
yeah,
Like that's like the big new thing now. A lot of streamers are playing the OG Fortnite map because people recreated it.
yeah. All right. The last thing that I have is unfortunately some sad news.
Yeah, it
It
is
was
sad.
yeah last week. Lance Reddick passed away at the age of 60. If people, I know him more for his work on movies and television. Obviously, he was in the
Yeah.
latest John Wick 4, but he, most known for The Wire. He was in
Hmm.
Fringe, but gamers know him from Destiny and some other games. And I guess after he passed, people kind of went
Huge in the
to
Destiny community though. Like
yeah.
like like people loved him in Destiny. They loved his character.
Yeah, because his character apparently I've never played Destiny, but apparently his
Played a big
character
role.
was a
Yeah.
very like a mentor type of teacher type
Hmm.
of
Very
character.
prominent character.
Yeah, and so people went into the game to pay their respects to him. They went to his where his character, I guess, resides, and kind of
And they paid tribute. Yeah.
Commander Zavala.
Yeah,
Is
that's
the
it. Commander
name of
Zavala. Yeah.
yeah. So
That's
yeah.
sad, man. The thing is like it's always sad. Like it's always sad. Like celebrity deaths, like they don't always hit me because it's like
Mhm.
whatever. I don't know that person. It
Yeah.
sucks that they're gone, but it sucks when you know someone like is good. Like he was a good actor, dude. Like he was really good at what
Yes.
he did. Like, and that's always when it hits harder. Like Robin Williams' death because he was
Mhm.
so amazing. Like or Prince or like whenever someone like insanely talented dies, that's really sad. You know what I mean? And that guy was, dude. He was an A tier actor. Honest to
Yeah.
God, like his video game work was good, but it's nothing compared to his movie and TV work. Like that, it's sad. I'm a big fan of it, and it's like he's got a sense of humor too, because he's always done like whenever someone asked him to do a weird sketch, he would do it.
Mhm.
Like he did like Funny or Die sketches. He did
Yeah.
Eric Andre sketches. He like it's- one of the wildest things that popped up on my YouTube feed recently was him dressed as the dude from Star Trek, the guy
Yeah.
that has
Yeah.
like the visor, and he's
Yeah.
just like
Jordy.
naked he's like half naked. He's shirtless with chains on, and he's just singing a song saying, "I wish I were LeVar Burton. I
Yeah.
wish I were LeVar Burton." And it's the weirdest thing
Yeah.
ever. And like for like, man, that's a good guy. For somebody to be like, "Yeah, I'll do this. This is dumb. I'll do it." You know what I mean?
Mm.
It says a lot about his character. You know, a lot
He
of
all
Hollywood actors would be like, "No, I'm not going to do that. That's dumb." You know.
he also was in Remedy Games' Quantum Break with Sean Ashmore.
I
And
actually never got
it,
to play that.
I actually never, even though I'm a big Remedy Games fan, I actually haven't played
Mm,
that either. I actually
that's the
bought,
one that I haven't played out of all their games. I think.
yeah, I bought it on PC and I haven't actually installed to play it. But what I remember from that is they made it kind of almost television episodic like. So there's a very
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he like really is playing like a real like character in a real story there. So
Mm.
anyways, it's sad. Sadly he actually came into Collider and I didn't get a chance to meet him because
Oh, that sucks, man.
he came in for interview for one of our shows and I wanted to meet him. The only problem was I was working on the Twin Peaks VR game at that time, and we
Oh
were
yeah.
literally launching. I think we're having our launch I think maybe the week after, and so like I was like so busy trying to get all the ducks in a row for the premiere and the party and all that stuff. So I did not get a chance to meet him, but
Man,
everyone
my
said he
biggest
was very
regret,
cool
my
and
biggest
warm.
regret is that Michael J. White came to the office once.
Yeah, he came in
Did
as
you
well.
did you get to meet
I
Michael J.
didn't. I
White?
did not. Yeah.
Man, dude, I would have loved to meet Michael J. White. That
Yeah.
guy's a legend.
Yeah, he was in there too as well. So,
So
yeah, unfortunately,
one of the last bits of gaming news I have is just
Mhm.
a disappointment, honestly, which is that Square Enix is releasing NFT cards for Final Fantasy VII.
Hmm.
And it's like, why? Like, first of all, the NFT game is so dry and dead, and it's like it's beaten like a dead horse. And a lot of people are very anti
Mhm.
NFT when it comes to games. So I don't know why they thought that this would be funny. Also, the
Mhm.
digital cards can't be resold, so you can't even really trade it as you would an NFT. You know.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's NFT game was last year, not this year, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you missed it by about a year, yeah. And it's dead now. It's the whole genre is gone. It
well,
sucks because
yeah,
I think I said this before. The NFT, the actual technology is really impressive. It just sucks that we ended up chalking it up to like, hey, look, pictures. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like the actual idea of having a digital signature that's that like accurate is
yeah,
there's so many other uses you could have for it that are like really good, you know what I mean?
yeah. The problem is it's much like real art. Is the value is determined by the consumer. You know, it's only
Mm,
valuable if people think it's valuable. You know what I mean?
yeah. That's
Um,
what I hated about it because it's literally like it's a digital signature. It works the same way that you could just to sign something to be like this
mm,
is mine, I own it. Doesn't have to be a picture or a work of art or anything. You know what I mean? You could also just do that to be like this is my video that I created. I'm attaching a non-fundable token onto it so that nobody can ever take it because it's mine. Here's the non-fungible token.
yeah.
Anyways, that's all I have for news. I don't have much left.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
covered a
the
lot.
biggest stuff was Zelda and Unreal,
Unreal.
and then Counter Strike 2, which is pretty big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. I've been
Oh, and
getting
Diablo
through.
4. Yeah.
Yeah. Lately I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy. Like I said, I played a little Atomic Heart, but I really just want to finish Legacy before Jedi Survivor comes out,
Mm,
and also Redfall too. So we're
yeah.
gonna have, unfortunately, we're gonna have Jedi Survivor, and then Redfall is gonna come out literally the next week. So it's gonna be a lot of stuff. And then I'm also working on my short film right now, which is
Nice.
it's the script's done. We're in pre-production, so I want to shoot that in May or June. So that's
Hey
another
man,
thing that's taking up my time.
have you ever heard of ShareGrid?
Yes.
Good, good. I was gonna say ShareGrid saves your ass in LA, man.
Yeah.
ShareGrid has saved my ass so many times when it comes to last minute equipment,
Yeah.
or just like random equipment that's difficult to find as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Like
mean, I do
this
have
is for filming it.
I
Yeah.
do have most of the equipment I need. There is a few things I want to rent, maybe like a gimbal or a
Right.
slider or something like that. But other than that, I
Okay.
have most everything. But
Oh
yeah, I
yeah,
just
they
gotta get
definitely share
logistics.
grid for that kind of stuff, you
Yeah.
know.
Cool. What about you? What games are you playing?
Um, I think I'm actually very very close to finishing Hogwarts. Like
Okay.
main quest, very close. I avoided a lot of the side quests because I was getting side quest fatigue as well, so I just
Yeah.
focused on the main quest. And even now I'm getting a bit of fatigue, and I jumped into like another RPG because I am still craving RPG, but
Mm.
just needed to change the pace. So I've been playing Cyberpunk again, which has been really fun playing it again another time, second
When
time
is that
through.
DLC coming out?
It was supposed to come out this year, but
It's
I
coming
haven't
out
heard a
this year.
single thing about the. They haven't mentioned a thing about it.
Yeah.
Wasn't it supposed to come out like first half of this year or like somewhere around like June-ish, if I had to
Yeah.
guess, or July-ish?
Not
I don't know.
sure. I uninstalled Cyberpunk. I finished it, so I'm just waiting for the DLC
Mm,
before I reinstall it.
reinstall it. Yeah.
Elden Ring, I still have installed. I haven't uninstalled it yet, but like I'm waiting for that DLC as well.
Sometimes you
So,
get a bit of a craving for Elden Ring. You know, like I reinstalled it the
well,
other day just to play
I didn't
a
play
little
New
bit. You
Game
know.
Plus yet, so and
Mm.
I didn't do a magic build. Only did a
Uh,
melee
Magic
build.
build, in my opinion, is the most fun, but it's the cheapest and it's
Yeah.
the least rewarding. Like there's certain times where you'll like beat a boss and you'll be like, oh, okay, I feel like a cheap asshole. You just feel
Yeah,
like
just run away and
you
just
feel
like
like
bam, bam, bam,
yeah,
bam.
you kind of feel like you're kicking someone when they're down.
Dude.
You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah,
feels like such an
try
unfair fight.
to kill Melania. Was that her name? Melania, right?
Yeah, Millennia or
Millennia
yeah,
or whatever.
Millennia. Yeah. No, there's
Millennia
no way with like you can't
with
like
a
I
with a
can't
sword.
beat her without ashes. I can't beat her. Like
Oh, I
there
mean,
are
I
people that
definitely use
there are people that
ashes.
dude, there are people that exclusively do not use ashes of war. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
I couldn't strength build all the way. So I take my hat off to all those people that finished the game with their strength build. I just couldn't do
Uh,
it.
I did strength dex. That was the way
That's
I went.
impressive. And if you finished it on strength decks, that's
Yep.
impressive. It's the way it's
Yeah.
supposed to be
I
done.
mean, I died a lot. I died a
Yeah.
lot. All right.
I ended up moving towards Faith in the end. Faith was a fun build.
Yeah, I might do a mix, like maybe do like a magic
Mm,
faith or something like that.
yeah.
All right, cool. Guys, thanks for watching and listening. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Revog. Also, our podcast is every week, which apparently Anchor.fm, it's basically Spotify for podcasters now. So basically just Spotify now. Our podcast will be on Spotify every week. You can subscribe to that. You can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero or Instagram Dennis.tzng. I guess I'm losing my blue verification mark because you have to pay for it now. So they're taking away all the legacy ones, which I think starts not tomorrow, Saturday. I think it starts Saturday. So I will no longer have my verification mark. I may change my name, not my name, but like my Twitter handle, because that was created for my old channel and I couldn't change it because they wouldn't let you change it, because if you change it you would lose your verification mark. And now that I won't have a verification mark, I might just change it. I don't know if I'm going to change it to just my name or something else. I'll figure it out. You can find me there, Instagram Dennis.tzng. Where can they find you, Josh?
Real quick, there was a couple short stories that we didn't get. I forgot to actually mention. I'm just going to mention them because we forgot to mention that. Elden Ring gets ray tracing on PS5 and Xbox Series and PC. So Elden Ring has it is getting ray tracing. Atari acquired Night Dive Studios, which is the people that made System Shock.
Yes,
it was just interesting to see Atari acquire anything. It was just interesting to see Atari in the news in general.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And then Microsoft scrapped a PS5 version of Redfall. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny how like people were shocked about that. It's like, oh my god, they did what? It's like, yeah, they bought a company, and they want the game's exclusives for them.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're owned by. I forgot. You're right. Yeah, that makes sense. Of course.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, it does suck that they had to scrap it though, because that leads me to believe that there was some level of development put towards it already. Let's see here. Was there anything else here? Oh yeah, the Twitch CEO Emmett Shear, he stepped down after working there for 16 years, which is hilarious because Twitch is becoming a dumpster fire. They're just hemorrhaging money and they're trying to find ways to make money, and they keep thinking the best way to make money is by ads, incredibly intrusive ads that completely ruin a live experience. Yeah. So it's kind of silly, yeah. And then the last thing I have is this. I don't know if you know about this. Zack Snyder, he's Rebel Moon. Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. It's a movie he's working on, I think.
Yeah, for Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, supposedly it's getting a massive video game adaptation.
Interesting.
Or a ridiculous scale. Yeah, he's working on a video game adaptation of his upcoming sci-fi movie Rebel Moon. It's going to feature RPG elements while boasting a ridiculous scale. So that seems to be the thing that they're focusing more on, is the scale of this game. It's interesting because the movie hasn't come out yet either. I wonder if it's like, do they bring out the movie and the game at the same time? Does the game have to do with the movie? Like, I don't know.
It's smarter to do that so that your marketing campaigns, can coincide
with each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
it might be smart. Yeah. This is a first though. Like, from what I can tell, it's not usually that you would get like a video game adaptation of a movie. Usually you get a movie adaptation of a video game, Yeah. So I think that's, well, I mean, you used to get video game adaptations of movies all the time. You used to get those really bad video games in the 2000s, man. Some of them were actually not that bad. Like, I watched someone replay the Iron Man game, from 2008. It was released at the exact same time as the movie, I think, which is weird. But that was a really good Iron Man game. Anyways, that's the last little bit of news I have. You guys can find me on Twitch at It's Thespis, all lowercase. Once I get to 100 followers, I will start streaming in regularly. And you guys can find me in the Revog Discord channel. I'm always down to talk about video games, movies, TV shows, whatever you guys feel like. Be sure to join our Discord channel and our community. Join us.
Which is in link below. So
yeah.
All right, guys. Until next time, see you guys later.
Later.